Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Natalie, and today we're going to be talking about how to get into nursing school. And I know that's something that a lot of people want to know. I'm kind of here as another resource to tell you how to boost your resume and really make you stand out as opposed to everyone else that's also applying, because I'm sure there's tons and tons of people. And I know that I'm probably one of many other people trying to help you guys out, but again, I'm just here as another resource. So today we're going to be talking about kind of more obvious things and then other things that you may not have thought about to include in your resume or to get done before you start applying to really help your resume stand out. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about, and I have my notes again, is GPA. You have to have a good GPA. You have to have all A's and B's. I think maybe like one or two C's is okay, but they really want to make sure that you're doing well in your studies and that you're working really hard. And this is super important for your general education courses, but it's even more important for those prereqs. So like anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, I think biochemistry or some sort of chemistry is one of the requirements, just depending on the school. But you really want to make sure that those are top-notch A's and B's, all A's if you can. Of course, I believe there's some schools that might say you can't, we won't even look at it if you don't have above a certain grade point average, or some will say you must have like an A or a B in these list of classes. So you really want to make sure that you're doing really well on your prereqs, because not only is it going to help you get into nursing school, but once you do, it really is a good foundation when you start taking your other classes. And of course, if you are very serious and you don't do so well, you're going to have to retake the class. But I know it would be kind of annoying, but at the end of the day, it would help you learn the information, and it shows a school that says, you know, hey, I didn't do well the first time, but now I did it again, and now I surpassed what I wanted to get. So that really shows the school that you're very dedicated and that you're really willing to put forth all the effort to do well to get into nursing school. So that's the first thing, which is kind of obvious. But the second thing we're going to talk about is the essay. So that's something where I think a lot of people get nervous about because they're really not sure. You know, most of the time it's kind of like, why do you want to go to X and X school, or why do you want to be a nurse? And I know a lot of times, you know, they're sick of like the cookie cutter type answer. Oh, you know, so-and-so in my family was a nurse and now I want to be a nurse. And that may be true, but I think you need to kind of go a little bit more deeper into your thought. If there is a particular experience, or if there's a particular story, or or if it is a family member that was a nurse and you really want to follow in their footsteps, I think it's very important to put your own experience into your essay and really explain maybe the details or the life experience that kind of got you to really want to be a nurse, instead of just saying, oh, you know, my grandma was a nurse and now I want to be a nurse. And then, you know, people have said that so many times and they've heard it so many times, and it's not, I guess, maybe like interesting anymore to hear, and it's not something that makes you stand out. So what I really suggest is kind of playing into a story while also answering their question in a professional way, just to show that, to answer the question first of all, but then second of all, to show that you put your kind of personality into it, that you really incorporate a story and kind of make it your own genuine answer, something that not many people could ever either make up or take from someone. And I think that's really important because it shows, 1, who you are, 2, your writing capabilities, 3, just like your overall appearance, how you express yourself, really why you want to be a nurse, and it shows your genuine authenticness. And I think that's very important. That's something that they want to see. And also with that, I know sometimes it's kind of intimidating to write like a big essay or not really an essay, but I guess a statement letter for why you want to get into the school. So I suggest, obviously you have to write it from your own personal experience, but I think it's important to get people to read over it because they might be able to help you explain things in a different way. And I know that there's some companies online that if you send them your essay or statement or whatever, that they probably for a charge, that they'll kind of critique it and say, oh, maybe you can say this better, or you should change the way you say this, or this grammar isn't correct. And I think that's something to take advantage of as well. And also something that I suggest that a lot of people have said in the past, don't just use big words to use big words or to sound smart. I think it's very important that you present yourself in the way that you normally would. And yes, maybe you want to change some words or use some more sophisticated language, but just be very careful that you're using them correctly and you're not just sticking words from the thesaurus here and there just to sound smart. So just be very aware. I would have people probably read your essay just to see that it makes sense, that you're getting your point across, because you may think that you are in your head and someone's like, I'm really not understanding what you're trying to say. And I think that's very important for you to really get that essay down, because I think those are one of the main factors that they're looking at. Because I know a lot of schools are very upfront saying, you know, I'm more of a GPA type school, and there are other ones that I want more of like a holistic approach, and that's one of them is the essay, to really show them who you are, why you want to be a nurse, and your true authentic self. So I think that's something, along with the GPA and getting good grades, that you really need to focus on. Okay, so for the third thing, this is kind of more for, this could be for BSNs and ABSNs, but I'm going to go with the ABSNs first. So again, for the ABSNs, those are for people that are in nursing, that want to be in nursing but have had a previous degree or a previous life career, or they have had to have a previous degree before going into this program. So a lot of people think, oh, well, I didn't have a previous experience in healthcare and that's not going to help me out. But it really does help having experience from other places. So if you worked in business, you might be really good at presenting yourself and expressing yourself and working with people one-on-one. That's very important as a nurse. If you're, if you worked as you have a degree, you worked as an EMT or something, that's really good experience, because yes, you are in the healthcare field and you are dealing with patients. So it's very important that you really show those life experiences that you have, because that really tells the school, okay, this person's smart. Okay, they present themselves well. Okay, they have experience with patients and people. That's someone that I kind of want to look further into. If you are a BSN, which is probably your first degree, I think it's very, very important that you think about either considering doing some sort of career, some sort of shadowing ahead of time to show your commitment to being in the healthcare field. So for example, you can be a CNA, you can be a medication aide in, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name, on like an assisted living facility. You can be, I don't know if I said phlebotomist yet, but you can be a phlebotomist. So those are things that are like taking not much time. It might take like a semester or two, and you can have experience, you have clinicals for them. I'm actually a CNA, phlebotomist, and medication aide administrator, and now a nurse, and I will be an NP soon. But those are things that really kind of amp your resume, because it shows, wow, they're very dedicated. They've gone through different routes that they can, and that they have a lot to offer, and they have a lot in their back of their belt. So that's really something important that you want to do. And also, I mean, if you can go ahead and shadow a nurse, I think that would be wonderful. Or even like, if you don't want to be a CNA or anything like that, even if you like volunteer at the hospital, or if you volunteer in an assisted living facility, maybe working with them in like their programs or anything like that. I think that's very important, just to show that you're wanting to be in the healthcare field and you're doing whatever you can to get that experience. And also I want to kind of clarify something. So if you worked in like retail or anything like that, really put that on your resume, because you might think, well, why retail? But that is customer service. As a nurse, yes, you are caring for the patient. You need to have critical thinking skills, but it is customer service. You are dealing with your patients. You have to talk to them in a certain way. You have to present yourself in a certain way. And I really think that it's important that you put all of your experiences on there. Don't think, oh, I just worked at McDonald's, or I worked at Express, or whatever it may be. Put that on there, because that's really important. That shows that you can work with people, that you know how to deal with people. And that's very important. Don't think that, okay, I need to be this perfect person that has just done these academic things. No, show your personality, show all like the extracurricular things that you've done, show that you can work with people. And that's super, super, super important. So I really recommend that you do that. Okay. Another thing that I recommend doing is to really keep up do things in a timely manner. That's what I want to talk about. So when they ask for your transcripts, do them in a timely manner. When they ask, and if you haven't been to school in a while, if you're like an ABSN and you need your transcripts from your previous college or whatever, do it in a timely manner because you don't know how long that's going to take and you're probably not their first priority. So make sure you do things in a timely manner. Make sure you follow up with an email to them saying, hey, were they sent, blah, 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 whatever it is. But make sure you're really on top of your stuff. Get your stuff in early because the last thing that you want is the day before the deadline and you're trying to scramble to get all this stuff done. It's super, super important that you get it done early, and it shows that you can do things in a timely manner. And again, that's time management skills. That's what you need to know to be a nurse. And I know that sometimes things on your resume to get into nursing school might think that there are a lot of like hurdles and obstacles, but those are things that you need to get through, and those show that you can get them done in a timely manner, that you know that you do things on time. You are able to work with the people that you need to work with in order to get things done. You're following up and you know how to work with people. These are all qualities of being a nurse. So indirectly, you are kind of showing whether or not you can be a competent nurse through your resume. And I know some things are I don't remember everything that was on the resume, but those were kind of the main things that I thought were very important. And of course they have like the general information, like what's your name and address and whatnot, but that's not a big deal. But it's kind of showing who you are, whether or not you finish this resume properly, whether or not you apply on time. Those are things that they look at, and they look at to see if you would be a good nurse or not. So keep that in mind, because I think people think like, oh, it's just application, I'll just put this and that, and it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. They're trying to see how you can present yourself in a timely manner and all of that stuff. So really just keep that in mind, okay? And I think that's kind of it. Oh, also, if you need letters of recommendations, I know some schools want it, some schools don't. My school that I went to, they did not want any letters of recommendation, but the other schools before I even got in, I applied to other schools that did. So I think that's very important. And I think another thing too is they think that it must be from a healthcare perspective. And some schools say that they would like something from like maybe like a prereq or something, and others are just like, I just need a letter of recommendation. So don't feel like if you really didn't vibe with one of your teachers that might have been like anatomy and physiology or anything like one of your prereqs, don't feel like you have to force it, because they're just going to write a very like cookie cutter recommendation that any student can have. If you really vibed with, maybe you took a music class or something like that, that can really show your personality and who you are as an individual, get that person to write it. Don't always think, oh, it has to be someone from the prereq. If it happens to be, I think that's better. But just be aware that just find a teacher while you're doing your prereqs. That's a great time to really get to know your teachers, to see if they can like write you as a letter of recommendation. Talk to them after class, ask them questions, let them know, hey, I'm really wanting to potentially ask you to write a letter of recommendation for me. Can I get to know you, and do you have time to get to know me better? Something like that, just to show that you're really serious and that you're gonna get a great letter of recommendation instead of just some cookie cutter thing. So that's kind of my tips, kind of how to help your booster resume. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and leave a comment down below, subscribe and like it. I'm gonna be doing a lot more videos on once you're in nursing school, kind of like everything that you need to know. So please just let me know if you have any questions. I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, or afternoon, or whatever it may be. And remember to always believe in yourself, do the work that you gotta do, and you're gonna get into nursing school. Okay? You guys have a good one. Bye.